What is up, guys? I am Brett Bard, bringing you episode 2 of my pro tip series that I am making for pretty much anyone who wants to play the game, veterans or, new players of the game. I really want the community to grow because this game does have a higher learning curve than most games. So if we don't, help out the new players, we're only going to lose players, and that's not fun. Because look at PC, it's already dead, and it's not even a week, or today's a week. So in this episode, I actually do want to cover three topics: spawn weapons, suppressing fire, and tournament controls. And we'll just work down that order. Really, what I want to talk about first is the spawn weapons. You have your Gnasher, Lancer, Hammerburst, and Enforcer. The Lancer and Hammerburst are supposed to be interchangeable, while the Gnasher and Enforcer are supposed to be interchangeable. The Enforcer is a SMG, I guess. I haven't played the campaign, so I couldn't tell you what it is. That's whatever you want. However, we do have other things. We want to talk about the power and accuracy and rate of fire of all those different weapons and how they are interchangeable. So I want to start with the Hammerburst and Lancer. The Hammerburst and Lancer, both one of them holds, I think the Hammerburst holds 30 rounds, while that or the Hammerburst holds 30 and the Gnasher holds 50. The Hammerburst is actually currently the one you would be using, but that's because it's overpowered. So once they update it, if they do, I don't know, and I could give an update if people would want to see what I believe that you should be using. But they're kind of interchangeable even right now, where you can always have the Hammerburst or Lancer to suppress people with. The Hammerburst shoots slower, but does more damage overall, while the Lancer is full auto, but does less damage, and so they both can drop someone very fast. However, you have to decide, am I better with a burst weapon, which I have to be able to be a little bit more accurate, or am I better with a full auto weapon? Depends on the situation. It really does depend. I mean, even though the Hammerburst may be better, if you can't use the gun, then it's going to be useless anyway. So pick the one you're comfortable with, even if it's the one you don't like. People don't recommend, like Lancer. I don't recommend it, but if you can't use the Hammerburst, fucking use the Lancer. Getting some damage is better than no damage. Which then we can move on to the Gnasher and the Enforcer. The Enforcer and Gnasher, it's weird because the Gnasher's never really had a competitive version of itself. Like, we've had the Sawed-Off, which is arguably, it was annoying essentially, but if you played Gears 3, but the Gnasher was still better in the sense that you had more than one round. The Enforcer is supposed to be longer ranged and a high rate of fire but low damage, and the Gnasher is supposed to be closer range with higher damage. So personally, I always think you should go with the Gnasher. I think the Gnasher is just way better. Not even arguably, it's way better. I think the Enforcer just sucks giant donkey dicks. It's a piece of shit. But that's just me. I mean, I've seen people say, oh, I love the Hammerburst Enforcer combo. And I'm like, why? Because they go, oh, well, it counters Gnashers because people don't expect it. Yeah, you fucking get one kill, good job. But other than that, everyone's going to run with the Gnasher because it's better, because the Gnasher is one of the few weapons that can actually insta-kill. I talked about this in the last episode. There's very few weapons that actually do that, and explosives are a lot of them, and power weapons. So this is the one weapon you can carry on your back that can actually insta-kill. Is kind of huge, and you're just kind of removing that from yourself. But, so if you're going to ask what I recommend Hammerburst and Gnasher from this conversation. But, if you can't use a Hammerburst, go with the Lancer. I really can never recommend the Enforcer. It's just something I can't really say, like, oh yeah, you should use this. I just can't. The next thing I want to talk about is actually using the Hammerburst and Gnasher, or Hammerburst and Lancer efficiently, which is suppressing fire. A lot of people don't use their main weapon, and it's like, I understand, the Gears is based around shotgun combat, but you want to still be able to stop things. Like, let's look at Gridlock. Gridlock has Boom Shot and a Sniper Rifle. Boom Shot is kind of like in the middle of an open little thing, where I don't understand why people don't sit there and, like, wait, because you can sit there and just down people, and if you have a whole team, you can suppress fire at the Boom Shot once they try to grab it and down them and kill them. Then the Boom Shot is either out of play or it rolls away, so we can deal with it again. But, like, let's say you are trying to go for the Boom Shot and you have to deal with players shooting at you. Your team can actually shoot back at those players and make them put their head down because they are going to die. And then we'll be able to play for, even if they're just down, they still lose that momentum of having someone up. And that's huge in this game. So you really want to see that. And, it keeps other people from shooting at you in the same way. So it's very, very good. The second thing it does, and I just said with this, is it's slowing the power weapon rush. You have every team at the very beginning running to the 2 power weapons usually is on the map. On this map it would be M-Bar and grenades, but really M-Bar and that's it, because all the other one sucks. Grenades are good, but not a lot of people rush those, usually one or two, if at all. And so you want to focus on that. You want to go, okay, well, I see what they're doing, I'm seeing what they're trying to do. I can slow them down, my team can get the power weapon, we can control the map and win the round easier instead of having them with a power weapon and we can't deal with that. So I always, always recommend shooting. I personally, when I spawn in, you can switch to your Lancer or Nasher only. I just leave my Lancer or Hammerburst out just so I can provide suppressing fire. And the last one I want to say is it doesn't allow the enemy to heal. Let's say you're chasing someone down, you put 2 rounds of Nasher into them, and they didn't die for whatever reason, because you're, instead of shooting double out buck, you're shooting condom wrappers and confetti. Whatever, your gun doesn't work. If the team just all put rounds into him, even if it's just 1, he can't heal. If you can just keep clipping him, he's not allowed to heal, and this lets everyone just still gang up on him, where he can't, potentially put out a clutch situation. Obviously, clutches are rarer, but this still allows either A, someone's going to down him, or B, he just is going to stay at a very low health where he can't compete, so you can chase him down, grab a power weapon. This keeps him off of things, because he has no choice but to run away. He has to get the fuck out, because he will die. And it's really depressing that people don't realize that on how effective stopping the healing is. But I guess, maybe I'm crazy and think that healing is not that big of, or healing's a huge deal that we can counter with just normal fire. I don't know. The last thing I want to talk about, and this is going to be a very controversial topic with all the players, it also relies really on console because it is a control screen. I guess PC could do it if you play the gamepad, so this isn't completely useless for PC players, but I think it's for console. This is what it should be. I want you to go into your controls, go down to settings, or settings controls, and then switch them from whatever default or basic or whatever to tournament. Tournament, all it does is it switches A and LB. So A becomes TACCOM, LB becomes cover, and then when to revive yourself, all you do is hit X instead of A. This is very, very key to Gears, and we're going to cover why this is. When playing a video game on controller, the reason it's harder to do well on controller than it is on PC is to press the cover button in Gears. You have to take your hand from the right stick to A, then move it back. That means you lose the ability to rotate your body while doing that motion. So, to combat that, we are moving our cover button to another button. We are moving it to LB. LB allows us to, TACCOM's not useful. Very rarely is it useful while you're trying to look around with the right stick. So we're going to take LB, which we can then just move our hand from the left trigger up to LB and hit the button, so that we can keep our hands on the stick, which for one will actually, this allows for better wall bouncing. I will cover a video on wall bouncing if you guys would like. Leave a comment if you would want to see something. I wall bounce a little bit. I'm not the best at it, but I can cover it and the advantages and stuff, and it becomes a billion times easier, which movement in Gears is what this game is about. So this helps a ton. This also allows us to our movement will become smoother and faster. If you don't know about Gears, for whatever reason, when you decide to plant your feet and go to a wall, when you go into cover, I don't know if you watch the gameplay, I will always try to run between cover pieces and hit them and just keep running off. And it's why would I do that? Because you slide faster than your guy can actually run. I moved at such a rate that I can move a little bit faster, and you want to keep that in mind. You're always going to move faster sliding than you will running. So if you can manage to get the slide off and make that your main form of movement, you will travel at a much faster rate than if you're just running. A lot of games, if you watch me, will always see me decide to run for cover, slide into it, run for cover, slide into it, run for cover, slide into it, because it is just a faster way to move. It's really because what we're doing is you're taking the movement engine in Gears and just completely changing it to better you. So it's definitely better, but you don't want to sit there and keep playing around with that idea. You just want to know that that's the way you want to do it. That's why I recommend tournament controls. I think it should be the default control screen for all players, new and old. I think it should just be the default, because even though it's hard to get used to, it's so much better. I don't want to hear anybody say I can't get used to this control scheme. I've been playing Gears since Gears 2, I guess would be the first one I actually played. So Gears 2, I played. Gears 3, never played Judgment and Gears Ultimate Edition, and which is Gears 1 Remastered, and Gears 4. I changed my controls in Gears Ultimate Edition. I was used to A. played a lot of multiplayer in all those games. So I can change my controls to tournament, and it does suck. It's very, very hard to get used to. I recommend playing social. It really doesn't matter about your stats, and you can just focus on playing. Like here's a progression I had. First of all, I never learned it right away. I was always still trying to hit A, but it wouldn't go in cover. Then I got to the point where I was hitting LB if I thought about it. Where I was like, okay, I need to, like at the beginning of the match, I'd be like, okay, I need to hit LB to run, not A. But then whenever I got into like firefights, I would still be trying to mash A. Now it's all just second nature because it really isn't that hard to teach yourself. I give it out like it's a religion. Like I'm like a cult leader trying to get people to join this cult of tournament controls. It really does make movement so much better, and even once you get used to it, the movement is insanely better. And I want everyone to try it. I really do. You will see your scores go up, your overall, KD, everything will go up because the controls will allow you to perform better and move around the map in a much more fluid motion instead of being that jittery trying to hit A and turn, hit A and turn your head, hit A and turn your head. It becomes a constant fluid motion of turning your head and also moving within the cover system. And I think that's very, very, good for everyone. That's really all I wanted to cover in this episode. If you liked it, if you learned anything, please comment below. If you have any questions or comments or whatever, comment below. Like the video, please subscribe. I do have a podcast that I do make semi-regularly. It's kind of hard to because my schedule is like me and one of the other guy can like record when the two moons will line up and Lucky Charms releases a new flavor, and we have all these different things. I just have to go into line for it to work. So if you want to listen to that, where I'm a lot less formal and a lot more, you can hear my ideas. Maybe you think I'm funny, maybe not. I don't know. You can listen to that. I'll leave a link below to a trailer on my channel. You can go look at his channel if you want to like hear him. If you watch the podcast at Truckload of Pain. Yeah, thank you guys for watching.
Mine.